Nobody cares about being called a racist anymore over this non-racist stuff. Trying to fix your mistakes ain't racist. Go in there, clean up JPS, get it fixed, get somebody in charge that knows what the hell they're doing, and get some of the schools open back up, convert some of these schools you closed to charter schools, maybe. I don't know, but
you're right. I mean, there's a fix in itself there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't seem like you're rewarding. And I know, again, I keep going back to Lindsay because she gets so mad at this point of rewarding these people. That's what it is. You are rewarding. Use whatever word you want. You're rewarding people who have terrible voting habits, generally speaking, who have voted their way into this with bad decisions. You are rewarding them by giving them the ability. Maybe they got a smart kid. Maybe they're invested into their kid. It doesn't mean both things can be right.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's a welfare queen sitting on the couch smoking blunts all day just because she votes terrible. You know what I mean? It's like, so both things can be right. You can be a terrible, terrible Democrat and continue to vote for terrible Democrats, in Jackson, and also being heavily involved in, your kids like hell. Actually, we've seen, to be honest, this is the other elephant in the room. It is a lot of your educated black women, your college educated black women who are the most die in the wool, free the land Democrats. Those are the ones that are the most vested into their kids' education. I'm talking myself out of liking this as I do this. Those are the ones, because that is the crew that I had the biggest gripe with, is the college educated black woman. And because they're the most militarized racist out there that just want to fight, fuss, scream, and everything's racist to them. And those are the ones that are probably the most vested into their kids having a good education, because they have one. And they would be the ones that would take advantage of this, but they're also the first in line to call you, to shout you down and to vote for Chokwe.
Well, I think it goes back to the initial, like we were just talking about. It's the simple solution would be to fix JPS, but that's actually the hardest solution when you think about, based on the administration of the. I mean, in our minds, it would be. If this was anywhere else, it would be simple. But I mean, if you're going to fix JPS, you're going to fix JPD, you're going to fix, public works. There's one thing you have to do, and the state has to take over, and that's the only way any of this gets done. It doesn't get done. Like, best case,
no leadership.
Right? There's no leadership. I mean, Chokwe Lumumba goes to jail, and I just hate to say this, but I feel like there's going to be another Chokwe Lumumba. Yeah, that's just going to fill out this kind of thing.
And the Mayor Jackson gets to pick the guy that runs JPS.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. And until as long as we have that, there's got to be a shakeup in the system. I mean, this is kind of like, how President Trump talks about shaking things up in DC and draining. There needs to be a draining of the swamp here. I mean, there has to be.
And to think about it with him and how complicated that is to do, he couldn't do it his first time.
Right.
And, he was new to it, trusted some people he shouldn't have, but he obviously has remembered those people. They're not included this time, but that is what he's doing now. And, I hate it, but it may be one of those things that takes, not gonna say too long, but just takes a long time just to do that.
Yeah.
But that, you're right. The only way moving forward, good leadership. Yeah. And the people got to want it.
So I want to say we need to move on from this idea that it's a bunch of thugs, that are going to take advantage of this. It is the people who have voted themselves into this that are going to be the ones to take advantage of it. It is your college educated, very militaristic, liberal black women that I think would be, for instance, you think Chokwe would send his kids to Jackson Public School?
No.
Who would be the first person to send their kids right over to Madison or Gluckstadt or
Pearl? I mean, do they go to private school now? I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. Well, it's just like during, we were just talking about the state takeover. There was a lot of, this is a part of my party that I hate, the white liberals that get up there and like pontificate about the public school system. A few of them, I'm not going to name them, but I know who they are, got up there during that and started talking about, we need to save our JPS, and then immediately started sending their kids to public school. Yeah. I mean, private school. I mean, so like, there's a lot of like, like
do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, and it's just a little absurd. I will never forget who those people are. David Blunt, like there are people like that do that, and and they're just completely plastic, as you can get.
So Lindsay says it's written that way to prevent that. Lindsay, what's written that way? There's not a bill that we're aware of.
She may be speaking about one of the national plans.
Yeah,
or a particular one she's got.
Yeah,
there's not any. As far as the Mississippi legislature, there's not any particular thing.
I'm reading the text here. So it's going to make schools more competitive. See, I think y'all are, that's what she said. It's going to make schools more competitive. I think that's something y'all are selling yourselves to believe this.
Well, that's the idea with charter schools too, is that in theory, it does, it's forcing you to like, look, you're going to lose these people, i.e. you're going to lose the money per student if you don't, clean your house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm afraid that,
but are they going to or not?
I can't but go back to JPS here, because that's what this is all about. You're talking about a bunch of people who have been entitled and who have been given everything their entire life. They don't understand being challenged and having to fight for, to battle another school.
Yeah.
They'll just give me more government funds. This is racist. Give me more government funds. They're not going to channel their inner beast to, we got to rise to the top and we got to defeat these people. That's not how that's going to work.
Yeah. I guess your point that it doesn't hit them like personally.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want to lose.
Yeah.
Sean don't want to lose. Fred don't want to lose. I know plenty of people that don't want to lose. This ain't a race thing. It can't help but be misconstrued as race because we're talking about JPS.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, that just is what it is. But I don't think these people over at JPS are going to have a rallying, like a big pep rally. We can't lose any more of these kids to Rankin County or Madison County. That's not how that's going to happen.
No, that's not. Yeah, it's not.
JPD, it would just JPS. Would just collapse on itself.
Well, then the only thing is,
it already has.
Yeah, right. I mean, the only thing is, and the only solution really is a state takeover, whatever legal mechanism there is to do that. That's the only thing you can do right now. I mean, if we're just being honest, that's just the only thing that's going to fix. Yeah, because if that doesn't happen, I know I keep sounding like a broken record, but this is just going to keep happening for 20 years.
I agree. 100%.
3 guys gonna be sitting in our chair 20 years from now talking about the same thing that we're talking about now. We're like, man, I wish those guys would have tried to do something back then, but they didn't, and they were worried about X, Y, and Z, but that's the only thing. It's not gonna. I mean, we and you know why? We have a historical example. Look what's happened in the last 30 years. I mean, so I don't. I think when we're in our 70s, or we'll be like, sorry guys, we're gonna be like Clint Eastwood. I'll be like in my neighborhood, sitting on a lawn saying, all right guys, like
rocking a shotgun.
Yeah, rocking a shotgun. This is right.
Like Lindsay's hair is on fire, but she's saying there will not be hundreds. Let me context here. Danny said, the real question, do you want hundreds of JPS students all of a sudden flooding a school system right now? Right now, it's kind of controlled because it's harder to do. And then she says, there will not be hundreds of JPS students flooding anything. Then who will it be? Then if it's not hundreds of JPS, who will it be?
Well, but that was kind of my point. I don't think you're going to have hundreds.
I don't either.
I just don't see that.
I'm with you, Sean. That goes back to my point. I mean, the parents have to have skin in the game.
Yeah.
How many are going to really do that?
Are we going to get 100? I wonder. Are we even like? That's what I wonder if we even get 100.
Then what are we doing it for?
The handful that really want the help.
Yeah. And then there's some in the Delta too.
Yeah. The Delta is a huge problem.
Yeah,
where are they going
to go?
Well, that whole thing's a hellhole up there.
I don't know where. I guess you could go to Cleveland School District, maybe some of them, or I think that's a little better.
Logistics,
logistics
has got to start playing a practical logistics. Has got to start playing a role in this.
It could be there. That could be the talk of the private school.
Yeah.
They could, but again, just from things I hear, private schools they're not really, originally a lot of people were on one side of it would say, oh, private schools are just wanting the money. Well, no, not necessarily, so they
I mean, you really think JA and prep won't this? I mean, you got to be approved. That's an approval process to get into these places.
Yeah.
I mean,
and again, they have to accept
Hartfield. Yeah. I mean, you think they want a state funded baby?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the politics of the private schools, to be honest with you. I don't know how they accept people or not. So I couldn't tell you if they would.
I mean, I'm just being honest.
They may be excluded.
I mean, it's a very exclusive, some just a very exclusive, insulated, Thank you for tuning in to the Clay Edwards Show here, wherever you may be watching this video. Real quick, it's brought to you by the free testosterone screenings at Men's Health of Mississippi. Ladies, don't let the name fool you. You are welcome to take advantage of the free testosterone screenings as well. All you got to do is text my name, all caps, Clay, to 601-327-8550. Just a few of the symptoms that could be brought on by low testosterone include, but are not limited to, fatigue, decreased muscle tone, lack of energy, low libido, that's your sex drive, brain fog,
and even sleep disturbances. It helped my mental health and depression a lot too, believe it or not. Again, text my name, 601-327-8550. Text Clay to 601-327-8550, and they're going to get you hooked up out there at their Madison office. That's Men's Health of Mississippi.